Uh, Call the advisory committee meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. Hey, everybody. Thanks everybody for coming. Happy new fiscal year. So, want to first introduce Eric Glazer, our newest member who's taken over for Adam, and thank Adam again for all of his support and great work over the years. But Eric, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself for those that may not know you?
Sure. So I don't know. I think Howard I've run into over the years on a variety of topics in town, but Eric Glazer, been in town since 2013, but my wife's family's been here for about 40 years. Live over on Skylar Drive. And I probably say, in all honesty, probably paid close attention to town activities in the past 3 or 4 years, really as a result of the Ferris 250 Turnpike 40B in our backyard. And so started really paying close attention to the select board and planning board and other things, but have an interest in being helpful where I can be helpful, and then connected with Paul right after the vote on the school, and then learned of an opportunity to come on board, which was great, and appreciate that it's a appointed position and not elected. So I think I'm looking forward to some interesting topics and to get more involved in town activities. So nice to meet everyone.
Perfect.
Well, again.
All right. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes? They weren't that long. Claire sent a couple out late, but I don't think I had any edits besides, I think, Howard, there's some questions on, I think, whether you and the neutral became an abstain, that's how I had written it down, but I think we could probably just make that change.
Yeah, I didn't have any comments on any of the three.
Okay.
I didn't have any comments on the others. Yes, I guess when we were told, I forgot the gentleman's name, said there's no such thing as a neutral. I said, fine, make it abstain. It's the same thing. So however
let's just
you want to record that is fine.
just record it as a 3-1-2 vote and just take out the neutral from the vote.
So Howard, are you okay as abstained or okay? You're
I think
okay.
that might, you said, okay, abstain. I
Oh, yeah.
abstained then. Tim, I don't think there was a clarification from you. The only reason I recall this very specifically is because I was taking the vote, and I like to say the look on my face was probably very puzzling. So I don't think, Tim, you changed your vote, but so that would be a question, I suppose.
I think I would take it as if there wasn't a yes or a no, then it by default is an abstain. But
right, I think that was what was said, right?
But yeah, so I would just make that change, Claire, because
Okay.
What did we say in our letter to town meeting?
It was the 3-1-2.
Yeah.
It was 3-1-2, but what verbiage did we use in our report? We should be consistent with that report.
It was the abstain, but let me pull it up. Uh, 3-1-2, yes, no, abstain. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So with that edit to the May 5th minutes, is there a motion to approve the May 5th minutes as amended, the April 3rd minutes as sent, and the May 8th minutes as sent?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Seconded by Howard. All right. Roll call vote. Marcy?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Larry?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Andrew is aye. All right, perfect. Thanks. Good to get that housekeeping cleaned up. Next up is committee officers for the new year. Again, we technically we have a chair, vice chair, and a secretary officers per our charter. Historically, the last few years, basically I just took care of the secretary stuff with Claire, just because that's basically all the work. So unless somebody is really wanting to become the secretary, we can vote that separately, or we could just roll it into the chair's responsibility.
We're
Seeing
gonna
somebody.
still have paid note taking, right? Like
Yep.
that's not gonna change, okay.
No,
Because
that-
if it did, then we could call a vote, right, for secretary, I suppose,
Correct.
okay.
um,
We love you, Claire.
Thank you, Claire, for all she does.
I'm a good deal, so.
Of course, I didn't mean it to
Hey,
sound
there's not a
bad.
whole lot of people standing in line for this. position.
Exactly,
They're
exactly.
Fighting
we
us
know.
off.
We have you. That's it. That's all we need. We're good.
I'm the best you got, Howard.
You're the best, period. You're good. So,
Oh, best thing I've heard all day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So why don't we start with voting on chair, and then we'll go to vice chair. Is there anyone that would like to be chair? I'm happy to relinquish control of that, as always, but
Barry's not here tonight, right?
okay.
Just noticed,
Barry's not
okay,
here.
so there's one person missing, okay.
Um, I wonder, and I'm not asking for the chair. I don't want to be chair, but I'm wondering, Andrew, you've done an absolutely fantastic job, but I don't want you burnt out or getting more burnt out to.
so this is something. So I have 1 year left up in my term. I would be willing to serve for one more year, but I looked for a vice chair that would be willing to kind of co-chair or kind of, kind of be in the wings to take over if I don't end up getting reappointed next year. If that makes any sense.
Do we have a vice chair right now?
As Marcy.
That's me.
You hide it well.
I don't take that as a compliment, Larry.
Oh, then I take it back. I'm sorry.
I'm joking, I'm joking. Um,
Do we do it the other way? I just look at every other board and annually, especially select board, whatever, they're mixing it up to.
Correct. Yeah, and I like the idea of mixing it up every year. But if anybody would like to be chair, I'm happy to be vice chair.
I would nominate our vice chair now to move up, but I'm not, that's her choice, so.
I'd be willing to take over chair.
Okay. And Andrew, that's obviously, once again, not any slight. You've done a fantastic job. I just, I'd like to see you see your family once in a while.
I would like that as well. As I always say, I got chair basically because Kathy left, and everybody else took a step back.
And I'm not saying whoever, Marcy, it's all you, we're here to whoever starts, I think I think we've learned that lesson that we need to support whoever it is. More.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that, to me, maybe this comes from the work I do in my day job, but chair is not the person that has to be the financial guru. Chair is not the person who has to do all the work. Chair is the person who sets the agenda, make sure everything's coordinated, make sure we're ahead of the game, we're listening about what's going on in other committees, which, Andrew, you've done a fabulous job, is the liaison with, fiscal, finance, select board, et cetera. And I would say that to me, a great example of that was when Kathy was chair and you were vice chair. Andrew, you had often the spreadsheets up and you had done, your contributions were amazing then and now. So, with that, with my, saying that I'd be willing to take that on, I think it would be I sort of have a different style of what chair might look like.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's an important observation. The in so many committees, the chair ends up doing all of
Yeah.
those things, but it really doesn't need to be that way. It just turns out that way in a lot of cases. So, yeah, I agree with Marcy on that.
And I think we take that for granted. I mean, I guess that's the point, is that we often take it for granted when we have a chair that they'll just, everything will magically appear and we'll kind of all show up. So there was a lot of lessons learned, I think, with the last vote that we took. The feedback from many people in town, personally, over email, in other committee meetings, what was suggested and said about advisory. And so I take that pretty seriously and would, sort of be operating with that in the forefront.
So Marty, if I may, so being completely new to this, I think maybe it's a great segue question for me to ask about if you transition to chair, then setting expectations for how others can be helpful, right? So me as a complete layman, to be, communication obviously is key. And so, like a great learning for me, if you're going to do that and you need to delegate more perhaps than others have done. So it seemed make sense to me, and I'm happy to be supportive wherever I can. But that in and of itself would be a tremendous learning opportunity for someone who's new to the committee. Just to follow the lead, and if delegation is needed, as long as there's clarity on expectations and what needs to get done, then I'm happy to help out, and I'm sure with others as well. Yeah.
I think that's everybody on the committee, or my experience. There's a tremendous amount of effort that goes into it. And Andrew has been spectacular, I think, in bringing us forward past the days of Kathy as chair. And I would only hope to do half as good a job as you, Andrew, if I was chair. But that said, it was going to rely heavily on others at the table, bringing your expertise, and as always.
All right.
And I would be particularly sensitive, Eric, to new member. I mean, we've all been there. Tim and Andrew are seasoned members with a lot of years. And even Claire has some expertise from being in the past on advisory. So anyway.
Maybe it's helpful if we just agree on what we are and what we aren't as an advisory board.
Good idea.
Right, we are responsible for the budget and providing feedback to town meeting on not just the budget, but also the warrant articles. We have the right to look at the books in town. And we control the reserve budget, right? Did I miss anything in terms of what we are? At least what the bylaws.
That's the basic gist. Yeah.
Right, that's the basic gist. What we are not is we are not an oversight board. Right, we do not look back. We don't audit, right?
Right.
If an audit is needed, it's not going to be us. It's going to be a professional group. Yeah, so some people in town sometimes don't understand the role that advisory has. So I think that this crew has done a really great job of staying true to our purpose.
Mm-hmm. I concur. Thank you, Tim. I completely agree. I think you're always a guiding light when it comes to that. I've heard this before, and it was very helpful.
Our seasoned veteran.
Season.
It's always very helpful.
That's not a compliment, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we have a nomination. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Roll call vote. Anybody else? Going once, going twice, seeing none? All right. Larry.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah.
Log off. See ya. Larry,
Larry's an aye.
Marcy,
Aye.
Eric,
Hi.
Howard,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Andrew is aye. Congratulations, Marcy. All right. Vice Chair.
I can't do it without you, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm happy to help you along the way. And, basically, we can do this together if that works for everybody.
I second that.
I make a motion for Andrew as vice chair.
Second.
I guess, yeah, Marcy, your job now. All right, you can take the roll call.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Let me stop daydreaming over here. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I think it's a great
No.
transition in, so thank you, both of you.
Mhm.
Roll call vote. Larry,
Aye.
Howard,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Andrew,
All right,
Marcy is aye.
all right, great. Marcy, I won't throw you exactly to the wolves. I'll
Thank you. I
help
do
with the-
have an agenda here, but I'm not
Yeah, I'll
ready
help you
to
with
talk
the-
about reserve
I'll
transfer.
help you with the agenda. So, the next on the agenda is the vote on the advisory representative to the pre-K to 8 school building committee, not the Neary Building Committee, the pre-K to 8 school building committee.
Mhm.
Would anyone be interested in joining that committee where they have an advisory representative as part of that committee?
Not in the time frame that they set forward.
What is the time frame, Howard?
60 days?
60 days, starting 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
I think, right? Andrew, starting a couple weeks.
I think
I mean,
so.
I don't think they haven't had any
Started
meetings.
July 1st. They didn't have any meetings. They were pushing me to like, we need to have a meeting before the 1st. And I was like, we have a meeting on the 15th. You're not meeting before then. We'll tackle it then. So whatever we decide here, I'll let them know and they might vote it at their meeting tonight.
You know, I apologize. I think at the last meeting, they might have extended it through September, in
I think
fact.
they did, end of the month.
Sorry, yeah. I just misspoke. It was originally 60 days, maybe ending August, but I think it's the end of September now. Yes.
So unfortunately, does not work this month. My next month is I'm not available, so it doesn't go to that committee. So.
Eric, I know this was something you followed very closely. You're a new member, so I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, maybe that's too much to take on, too much to ask, or you're not of interest, or maybe it's just not that good timing.
I think part of it, so one question is what is the role and the responsibility? So, and I'll get very specific. If I remember how Andrew was engaged, if it's about running a ton of analytics on the various options, that's just going to be I don't think I have the time to do that. I followed it very closely and would continue to do so. But if it's more of, hey, you listen into the meetings and provide input and guidance while they do the work, that's probably more manageable from a time frame perspective. But it just depends on the scope of responsibility for it. I just don't know because I don't have a sense of the roles and responsibility for that. If something's in writing, I could take a look at it and think through it. I do know many of the people on the committee, but it's really just around the time.
I think it's not defined, right? I mean, I think there's a representative and they have a body of work. Now, what that representative does is up to the representative and the rest of the committee. That being said, I don't really have an interest in joining this one, but I can certainly help with any numbers that need to be crunched, and the rest of advisory can as well, in terms of our oversight of what would be an article, right? So, we can look at it as a third party that says, okay, they come up with some numbers. We could say, okay, this is what the budget impact would be, or what the tax rate would be, or all that kind of stuff. It's kind of, stuff that we can help with, but the, joining all the meetings, going through all the options and the, discussing with them and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the bandwidth for that again.
Yeah, I would assert that your primary responsibility would be to liaise as advisory's representative and to ensure that you're bringing back the information to this board, because we will end up having to do our own analysis and make our own recommendation. And anything beyond that would be your choice.
Yeah, if it's a liaising function, I could get my arms around it, and if there's support from the others, because I'm brand new to this and just learning the ins and outs of being on the advisory committee itself. So there's a way to be the conduit, then I think that's fine. But say I just do not have time to run a bunch of analytics and quantitative analyses. So if that burden is borne by the rest of the committee or by third party, one question is that who actually does it? Is it third parties? Do you get independent reviewers, or is that generally borne by the folks on this committee to help run some of those numbers? I mean, who does that actual work? Who's responsible for it?
I think it's the responsibility of the committee to figure that out, right? If they need, I think there is some budget available if they need to hire analysts to do it or other people on the committee. Just because it's the advisory rep doesn't necessarily mean that you're the numbers guy, right? That has to do it all.
Yeah, and as long as we're clear on that point, then I'm more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
We're clear with it, and, you know, as the liaison, that you will make that clear to them. That's how, it doesn't have to be like it was last time with Andrew, you know, chose to run those meetings.
Right.
Yeah. And that was more because I got put on the finance subcommittee
Finance
than
sub.
I was on the committee itself, right? So, and I don't think they have a subcommittee structured established or whatever, but again, if they did, you know, just be like, listen, I'm good. You guys do that. Good luck with you. I'm here just to be the liaison.
Now, how does it work then? Would it be a standing agenda item for the advisory committee meetings to say, hey, what is the latest and greatest based on the various meetings that have been held?
Yeah.
We just had a members report, you know, update
Yep.
on which we've done in the past when we've had other ad hoc committees, like we had somebody on capital. So we always had a running capital thing before it was a standing committee.
And if something comes up that you need something, then you go to the chair and say, we need to have a meeting to discuss this, and we get together and we discuss.
So I would say if I can get a bit of hand holding, then I probably, I wasn't going to, but I could throw my hat in the ring as long as I say, or maybe a partner with Andrew or somebody who just has experience going through this, just to say, hey, making sure that I'm not missing something. But based on expectations within this group and the ability to push back on, you know, just taking on a bunch of Excel spreadsheet work, et cetera, then, you know, I can wrap my arms around that.
And again, we're behind you on this side. So
Exactly.
there are spreadsheets that need to get run, or, you know,
Yep.
you will notice we may not be at the meeting, but we will probably most definitely be watching it on tape.
Yeah.
Live, just not, and, you know, I love the, you know, if anything came out of COVID that's good, it's about the Zoom meeting, because I can be across the world and still catch the meeting or catch the recording on the way back. So it's much easier if you can Zoom.
Okay.
I know there's a select board meeting conflict, but I did promise Tim Fling when he asked that we would be supportive of that committee with everyone's input here. So you won't be by yourself, Eric. We'll
Yeah,
be
I
in this meeting.
wasn't suggesting otherwise. It's just,
I know. It is daunting though,
this is
not really knowing.
Yeah, like I spent enough time with people involved in that whole process, so I'm very familiar with it. It's just really the specific workload requirement if it's needed.
And I would say if it gets too much, then
It changed.
resign and you know, we'll reappoint somebody.
Yeah,
right?
like I'm not even suggesting. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be chicken little here. That's not my point. It's just
I don't know, yeah.
when, as long as expectations are clear, then, you know, give it a shot. That's fine.
Okay.
All right,
I nominate Eric.
great. We have a motion for Eric. Do
Second.
we have a second? Tim's got a second. Any further discussion?
Welcome aboard.
All right, roll call vote. Howard,
Aye.
Larry,
Hi.
Tim,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Marcy's aye. Right,
I just let Andrew know and he will hopefully vote it as you speak.
oh, perfect. All right, Andrew, I don't know. I think you're still maybe
Okay.
running the meeting.
The agenda next one up is
FY25 transfer.
the very large interdepartmental transfers and the no reserve fund transfers, which I don't know how that ended up. I gotta dig into that more, but I will take it. Let me pull that up. So Eric, at the end of every year, by July 15th is the last day. We basically clean up the books at the end of the year. If, you know, budgets were off a little bit, we'll do like a transfer between budgets just to clean them up. Or if we need to do a reserve fund, you know, it's usually some ticky tacky things. So this year there was 3 interdepartmental transfers needed. Actually, let me just go share my thing.
And there was a reserve in the benefits file, is that where? we're getting-
It's getting, yeah, so there's some extra money in the benefits line item, which is usually where they have a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah.
But I remember when we did our letter to town meeting, we thought there was gonna be something for fire, town clerk, for some other ones. But they didn't, so that was great. So let me share this. So there's, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's 3 lines. One for Paul for overspending his $100 budget by $20. You know, we're gonna make sure he doesn't do that again. Hold him accountable to that. The regional assessment at Assabet came in $191 over what we budgeted. And then recreation, I think because they had
Bottom left, yeah.
funds short due to hiring 2 new employees, which took place after the budget was set. So I think they were at like a little bit higher rate class than was budgeted. But all in all, on a $50 million budget, to have $2,000 of adjustments, I think was kudos to the finance team for all of that. I did inquire to them on in the future, like, is there something we can vote at town meeting or like a pre-vote to say, like, okay, if it's under $10,000, like, don't even bother coming back to us, just move the money around. But I don't know if that's even possible, but it seemed kind of silly to convene the select board and advisory to approve these kind of minuscule movements, but nevertheless, here we are.
So did Paul pay you too much this year? Is that why he was over budget, or?
I mean, that, he doubled my salary from 0 to 0. So I think it's the
The dues went up. I
the
think.
dues for the town meeting time or something like that went from 100 to 120 or something like that.
Got it.
Yeah, funds short to dues increase. So yeah, I don't. But yeah, so Marcy, if you want to take a vote for just approval of these 3 line items, I think we should be good.
So do we have a motion to approve the interdepartmental budget transfers that include the 3 line items on the screen: moderator dues, Assabet assessment, and recreation, for a total of 2266?
So moved.
Second,
A second, I couldn't hear that actually.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Andrew,
Aye.
Howard,
aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
and Marcy's aye.
And stop sharing.
There's no reserve, right? That's it. So
Yeah.
No reserves, yeah. So that was it. That was probably
Oh,
the
no one has reserves. Oh,
then that's got to be the easiest year-end cleanup I can remember.
I've never seen it so low.
kudos to everyone.
that we over budgeted somewhere else. I don't know.
It was like $8,000 or $10,000 last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, 24. It's on
Was
that-
it? Oh.
Yeah,
the other tab of that.
great
Excel.
job.
Yeah, excuse me, 146.
Oh,
Carla, are you in the audience? By any chance?
I was going to say, I saw Carla earlier. Yes.
I'm not sure if that Carla is our Carla. Yes,
Yep, hand is up.
Here you go.
Carla,
Yep,
is that Carla?
I'm
Okay.
here.
Just wanted to check. So is that everything you needed, and then you would just need Marcy to come in and sign it, right?
Yes, yep. I just need the chair to sign. I'll leave a copy at Katie's desk. Yeah, again, this is a great story. It's not where I envisioned being at the end of the year, but there were some things that went our way and in a big way, and so we had minimal movement at the end of the year.
Nice job.
Great.
Thank you.
Good job.
Great
guys.
Kudos to the department heads as well, because they're the ones that heed the advice. So yeah, it's been a good year. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right.
All right.
That's all I had on my, except for any other business properly brought forth and public comment. And so Carla's our only public, so I think we're okay there.
I don't see any other comments here. Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. So moved.
Roll call vote. Eric,
I,
Howard,
Aye.
Tim,
I,
Larry,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Marcy's aye. Thank you, guys.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Have a good evening.
I.
Bye-bye.